Hey, it's Red. Today I'm going to be reading from my favorite subreddit, r/Today I effed up. I love these stories. They usually make me so happy. So let's get going. Today I effed up by buying a prank gift that ended as mine. So I've been dating this girl for a few months, going well, we met each other's parents and so on. Christmas coming and we decided to give gifts. She warns me though that in her family, first Christmas present is often involved with banter or some joke. As I love banter and pranks as much as her, I immediately pick up on this. Then one night we're talking about how she's never been in a relationship and she says in a joke she's basically in training. That's it. I get an idea for a prank gift. Go online and order it. Fast forward yesterday. Things don't always go as planned and in a nice civil way I get dumped right before Christmas. Yesterday was also a rough day at work, so pretty hard, bad day overall. So I woke up this morning ready to start working from home due to COVID. Still a little bummed about things ending, but today must be better. Then the doorbell rang. Of course, the gift has arrived. Bummed out and a little sad, I open the prank gift from myself. It's a book, Relationships for Dummies. Now that is a self-burn. Oh, that's so good. I'm laughing like crazy, but laughing turns into coughing, so... Oh. Okay, here's our next story. Today I effed up by giving a homeless man my recyclables. I'll try and make this short. Yesterday while driving home from work, I turn right and start speeding up to merge on the freeway. I look ahead and to the left I see a man in the bushes rummaging through some stuff. Usually I keep a bag of plastic water bottles and Red Bull cans that I accumulate through the week and give it to any random bottle can collectors so they can recycle them for money, 5 cents a bottle. So I figured, why not this guy? So as I'm speeding to merge on the freeway, I grab up the bag full of recyclables, tie the top into a knot, roll my window down and yell, "Here you go!" This man looks up from what seems to be his daughter's memorial on the side of the freeway as my poorly aimed plastic bundle hits him square in the face. I couldn't stop to apologize due to the cars behind me, and I hope I didn't dampen this man's Christmas even further. Okay, it's nice that you give your bottles and cans to people who might need that little bit of money, but first of all, don't throw anything out of a car. And second of all, don't throw anything out of a car. Okay? Gosh. Okie dokie, here is story number 3. Today I effed up by sticking my finger in a hole it doesn't belong in. Obligatory not today, but happened when I was around 6 at a bank with my mum. My mum was sorting something out at the counter at this bank. In addition to the screens, they had a small area to pass stuff between with a see-through cover and a lot of holes. I discovered that I could easily fit all but my index finger in these holes. For whatever reason, I decided to test whether these holes were all the same size by attempting to stick my index finger in each hole and ignoring my mother, who told me not to do that as it'll get trapped. The first roll of holes were as you would expect. My index finger wouldn't go past the joint, so I moved on to the next row. About halfway through, I finally succeed and got my finger in one. I go to remove it and test the next hole, only to discover, to my horror, that my finger wouldn't move. My mother, noticing my finger in the forbidden holes, tells me to stop again or there'll be trouble and turns back to the bank teller. It takes a little while longer before my mum notices that my finger is still in the hole and yells at me to remove it. I explain I can't, and she quite forcefully tries to remove it, only to realize that it's now stuck firm and slightly swollen. After a verbal blocking that can be summarized as, "I told you this would happen, you idiot!" the bank teller grabs a bottle of fairy liquid from the kitchen and attempts to lubricate my finger enough for it to escape. Even after dousing my finger and most of the cover, my finger remains stubbornly in place. At this point, the bank manager decides she needs reinforcements and calls the fire brigade. They expected they'd just send one of the cars, but no, we got the full engine and 6 burly firemen turn up with lights and sirens, followed by an ambulance who'd been dispatched because I was a kid. Life pro tip. Don't tell the kid the ambulance is only there in case the firemen accidentally chop off their finger. The firemen look at my finger, try yanking it a few times, spray some of their own brand of special sauce on it, and try yanking it again. My finger resolutely stays in place, and the firemen grab a small saw-like tool to help cut me out. Whilst one chats to me and the other cuts through the holes around my finger, giving me freedom, but with a fairly large ring on it. They move me to one of the tables, sit me down, and then gently cut into the plastic on either side of my finger. Finally, they grab the plastic and snap the remaining bit, allowing my finger to regain its freedom. The paramedics give it a look over, and I'm free to go home with my fairly bemused mother and my dad, who found the whole thing hilarious. Okay, here is our next story. Today I effed up by embarrassing my kid and involving the police. Key preliminary backstory. On Thanksgiving, my youngest played Smashy Smash with my phone, damaging the sound chip connected to the microphone, rendering phone calls impossible on my phone. Can't hear the people, people can't hear me. It just doesn't work unless connected to Bluetooth. Does literally everything else except phone calls. Key secondary backstory. My fiance's van has a Bluetooth stereo that doesn't like syncing to phones occasionally and will just not respond to the call option. So even if the phone was working properly, it still might not work when connected to Bluetooth if the van was feeling moody. My 9-year-old stepdaughter, who will henceforth be referred to as Squid, had an eye appointment this morning. So she was to go to school late once the appointment was over. Squid specifically requested that I take her to the appointment instead of her mother. Mainly because when I drive, I'll crank up the music and we goof around more so than when mum is driving. She enjoys it, I enjoy it, everybody is having fun. So come 9:45, we're moseying our way to her appointment. The stereo is connected to my playlist and we're just flipping through songs. Now, sometimes I like to play older music or just weird music that the kids don't like. And then I like to over-dramatically sing along in the most embarrassing way possible because it's funny. And on comes The Sign by Ace of Base. Her distaste for the song is almost immediate, and my need to rub it in good fun, was strong. So I cranked it up and started bouncing around and singing along. She's laughing and telling me to knock it off, and then does like she's fake trying to crawl out the window yelling for help. It's all fun. Well, the police officer in the parking lot at the light who saw this did not think it was fun and deemed it as a threat. So we proceeded through the intersection. He lights me up and pulls me over. I at first thought maybe I blew a red light, so I turned down the music and tell Squid to chill out and pulled over to the nearest parking lot. When he used the PA to tell me to turn off the vehicle and step out of the vehicle, I quickly realized that this is not about rolling a red light. Hands in the air, he comes and cuffs me and has me sit on his hood. Backup arrives and starts questioning me as he starts questioning Squid, who is frantically crying and wanting to know what is happening. And here's the everything that makes this stop that much more difficult. Myself, my fiancé, and Squid all have different last names. Remember how my phone doesn't make phone calls? Can't call my fiancé. Explain the phone issue to the cop. He doesn't understand because I already said it was connected playing music. Remember how the van stereo gets moody? Yeah, it's in a mood now, so the cop thinks I'm lying. Other officer tries to call my fiancé from his phone. She isn't answering. Even more suspicious. But the initial officer and the officer questioning me are now arguing because Squid is telling the exact same story, giving the same phone number, and is saying the exact same thing. Our addresses check out, the van checks out, everything checks out, but this one officer does not want to let it go. Then Squid said the smartest and dumbest thing imaginable. No, you listen! Call my dad! So they get my phone for Dad's cell number. Dad answers the phone. Officer starts explaining the situation, and obviously Dad is worried, but as the explanation unfolds, I can hear him laughing and says, "Was the stereo blasting too?" The police have now gotten his confirmation that all is well in the land of Oz. This was not a kidnapping and everything is fine. We're free to go. Now 20 minutes late for her eye appointment. We explained, they rescheduled. My fiancé calls me because Squid's father called her. She's all freaked out. Squid is still shaken up, so we called her out of school and got morning ice cream at Dairy Queen because why not? Thank goodness the cops were paying attention because if that had been a real kidnapping, it could have ended a lot differently. I hope you guys enjoyed those r/today I effed up stories. Read by Red. That's me. I'm Red. If you did, please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I make videos every day, so hit the bell icon and you'll be notified when they're published. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good rest of your day.